Number 3, number 3 in your homework is r equals 1 minus 3 cosine theta. You're thinking cosine? Polar axis probably, but we have to check all of them. I rewrote my rules over here, again, trying to get those memorized. And then if I have them memorized, I can kind of look up there. If I write them down, I can kind of look up there to help me when I'm getting ready to replace things. So checking for a symmetry to theta equals pi over 2, I replaced negative r with negative r and theta cosine with negative theta. So it doesn't look like, did I do that? And so I'm going to rewrite this. I have no idea whether that looked right. So it would be negative r equals 1 minus 3 cosine negative theta. And so that's negative r equals 1 minus 3 cosine theta. That would stay the same. So dividing by negative 1, I get r equals negative 1 plus 3 cosine theta. So that's definitely a no. So I go to the or part, and I replace r with r. Keep r, don't replace it. And your angle becomes pi minus theta. And with a cosine, that would be cosine cosine. And then because it was a minus, it becomes a plus. So cosine cosine plus sine sine. So cosine pi is negative 1, so you get a negative cosine pi plus 0. So you end up with r equals 1 plus 3 cosine theta. So that is a no. So no to symmetric to theta is pi over 2. Going on to B, is it symmetric to the polar axis? I can already tell it's going to be because of the whole identity about cosine. It becomes just the same thing. So that is a yes. So yes to the polar axis. Checking the pole, putting negative r in first. Definitely doesn't give me the right thing. So I go to part B, putting in r and pi plus theta. And so it's a cosine cosine minus this time a sine sine because this is a plus. So I still get a negative 1 times cosine theta, so negative cosine theta minus 0. So I get r equals 1 plus 3 cosine theta. We're supposed to be a minus to match, so this is a no. So no for the pole. All right, and one more of these. Now we have an r squared equals 25 sine 2 theta. And I'm going with that would be the pole, because if you change negative r and not theta, you're going to get the same thing. So you'll see down here that's true. But we have to check them all. Again, wrote out all my shortcut, or, the rules, so I had them to look at. Started with theta is pi over 2 and replaced negative r and r with negative r and theta with negative theta. And I got a no for part A, not symmetric. And also when I went to part B of theta equals pi over 2, I got a no also. So that was a no to theta equals pi over 2. Checking for the polar axis where I changed the angle to negative, I would get, the first part would definitely be a no, because r would stay the same, and just changing negative theta changes it to a negative in front. So that would be a no. Now, going to the or part, I change it to negative r and pi minus theta, but then r would stay the same because it's r squared. And this would change to a negative 25 cosine 2 theta, so that one is a no. So no to polar axis. But pole, you can see right away. If I change r to negative r and I square it, it's going to be the exact same thing. So pole was yes. All right, so those are the 4 problems on your homework where you had to test symmetry. I know it was a lot of work, but just think of all you've learned. All right, moving on to the next video will be graphing.